So first, I think there is a consensus that this election has diminished the reputation of American democracy and America around the world, even if it's tinged with a little bit of a relief at the outcome. The second proposition, I think, is there is growing consensus, I think, amongst Indian discussants of the American election, that the category of populism is less and less useful when thinking about Trumpism. That was perhaps the frame in which we understood the last election, but Trump's voting base is much more diverse, has a lot more contradictory amalgam of constituencies. And in fact, some of the kind of unmet needs of the last election, actually those voters migrated to the Democratic Party. So if you look at the turnover, and so what this moment suggests may be something even deeper and darker than populism, which is because populism in a sense exceptionalizes this moment, right? That somehow something happened in the last 5 years, which was populist. The deeper and darker thing is that, is this a return to a dominant strand in American history around racial polarization? Is it a return to a form of polarized politics where the center and left will actually find it much more difficult to consolidate power, whereas the right's electoral game will not so much be populism in the conventional sense of meeting unmet needs. The right's game will be just to ensure that the left and center find it very difficult to govern America. And Trump's holding out, at least in our reading, is not so much about, he seriously is not going to stage a coup or something. It is just an early signal that the next 4 years, the Republican Party and the right wing will have one single objective, which is to make sure that America is ungovernable. You have protests, you have, polarization, institutional logjam. And this is, I think, the biggest worrying, characteristic of that election. And so I think we are beginning to think of this election less in populist terms, more in terms of what the kind of revealed preference of the two different political parties is.